You're welcome to this edition of The Power Circuit, a program brought to you by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, to inform you about its efforts towards advancing bulk power transmission and its other roles in the power sector. Here are the headlines. Federal government explains Nigeria's power grid connection process to Chad. WAP appoints acting MD/CEO of TCN as chairman of its executive board. TCN adds 30 MVA transformer to substation to improve power in its same town of Oyo State. And in the interview segment, the Assistant General Manager Transmission, Osogbo Region of TCN, Engineer Adetutu Solomon Odukale, speaks on how mining activities pose threats to power transmission lines in some parts of Osun State. I am Amara Agugesi. Thanks for being with us. The Minister of Power, Engineer Saleh Maman, has assured officials of the Republic of Chad that the federal government would guide them on the process of connecting the country to the Nigerian national power grid. The minister made this disclosure while hosting the Chadian Minister of Energy, Ramatu Mahamat Otuen, at the powerhouse in Abuja, when he said the Nigerian power sector has the potential to be a huge source of foreign exchange.
Engineer Mamman said, while the federal government works towards improving the power supply of electricity locally, it is also positioning Nigeria as the strategic supplier of electricity within the economic community of West African states, ECOWAS.
This welcome development will help in enhancing the cordial relationship between the two countries. The Federal Minister of Power had earlier met with the Chadian delegate led by His Excellency, the Ambassador of Chad to Nigeria, on Thursday, 18th of June 2020, in respect of the expression of interest for power interconnections to Nigerian national grid. In the meeting with the Chadian envoy, the Federal Minister of Power expresses readiness and commitment to regional integration as the interconnection will be of the economic benefits to Nigerians and will strengthen the mutual relationship.
The Nigerian minister explained that Nigeria already has bilateral contracts with other countries, including Niger Republic and Benin Republic.
Additionally, under the framework of the West African Power Pool, whose objectives include promotion of power exchange among the ECOWAS member states, the Republic of Benin, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Nigeria are developing on the establishment of 875-kilometer 330 kV line called North Core Transmission Line. This line will interconnect the four countries, and Nigeria will be the key supplier of electricity.
He noted that the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, whose management team, comprising the acting managing director, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, and other executives who were part of the meeting, will present a business plan and the implementation modality of the interconnection process.
We will write to the Presidency to secure all necessary approvals. With abundant gas resources in Nigeria and the effort of the present administration of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to strengthen the power sector as well as ease of doing business in the country, Nigeria has the potential to generate and export low-cost electricity to the sub-region.
He then reiterated the commitment of Nigeria towards regional power integration.
Once again, I want to assure you of our readiness and commitment to regional integration. I thank you very much.
The Chadian Minister of Energy, Ramatu Mahamat Otuen, who was in the company of the Chadian Ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Abakar Saleh, lauded the Nigerian Minister of Power for the warm reception and for taking the bilateral interconnection projects as a priority.
À travers la réalisation d'une étude de faisabilité au cœur de sa vision pour l'émergence du Tchad.
Has put the issue of electric energy at the heart of his vision for the emergence of Chad.
She noted that the project will help to meet the technical and economic process and will lead to development and meet the energy needs of the increasing population of Chad.
Ces différentes mesures traduisent la volonté manifeste du gouvernement tchadien d'électricité.
These measures reflect the will of the Chadian government to provide a lasting solution to the problem of electricity supply.
The acting managing director of TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, in a presentation explained the possible ways the company can connect the Republic of Chad to the national grid of Nigeria.
TCN is a member of WAP, that is West African Power Pool, and currently we will power to Shakete in Benin Republic and 330 kV single cycle transmission line, then to Niamey and Gazoua in Niger on 120K single line, transmission line. Our vision is to be one of the leading electric transmission companies in the world.
Engineer Abdulaziz also highlighted the achievements of TCN, especially on wheeling generated energy.
TCN has a peak wheeling capacity of 5,420.3 megawatts as of September 2020 and operate with a nominal frequency of 50 Hz. Our maximum available generation capacity is 7,851.2 megawatts. Total transmission wheeling capacity is 7,300 megawatts.
The General Manager System Planning at TCN, Engineer Shehu Abba Aliu, further explained that there was need to know the load demand of Chad and that TCN will require constant communication with the energy utilities of Chad before a decision could be reached on using the eligible customer policy or a bilateral agreement for the interconnection through the Borno State axis. Concluding, the Minister of Power, Engineer Sele Mammong, said there was a need for the Chadian delegation to come up with a formal proposal that will outline their requests and energy demand.
The West African Power Pool, WAP, has appointed the acting managing director and chief executive officer of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, as the chairman of the WAP executive board. Our reporter completes the story.
The appointment was made during the 46th meeting of WAP executive board, chaired by the Secretary General, Mr. Segil Apollonier Key, which was held via video conference. Engineer Abdulaziz was nominated by the former MD CEO of PHCN, Engineer Joseph Makoju, a honorary member of WAP.
Also, I'm very happy that I'm having the opportunity of introducing the incoming executive chairman of WAP board. Why I'm particularly happy is a young man I've had the privilege of working with him during my tenure in the power sector, and was always someone who had great promise. And he has contributions to the Nigerian transmission sector. Certainly one of the all-rounder, best all-rounder MDs ever produced by TCN in various sections. And I'm sure we're going to have the benefit of that experience during this tenure. I want to formally propose to all my colleagues on the board that I'm proposing his appointment formally as our new chairman and president of the board of WAP. I put this proposal on the table.
His proposal was endorsed by MDs and DGs of other members of the board. In his acceptance speech, the acting MD CEO, Engineer Sule Abdulaziz, who was flanked by members of the TCN management team, thanked the board members and the honorary member of the executive board for his nomination as the chairman of the board.
I wish to thank all the executive board members and honorary member, Engineer Mokoji, for giving me the opportunity to serve you as your chairman. Let me use this opportunity to assure all the board members of my total commitment to the overall objective of this regional electricity body. I would also like to solicit your support in the service of this noble organization as we take it to the next level, where the regional electricity market will meet international best practice.
Engineer Abdulaziz equally encouraged all WAP member utilities to continue to collaborate actively with the Secretariat to deliver all WAP programs.
I encourage all members utilities to continue to collaborate actively with the Secretariat to ensure effective and efficient coordination and implementation of all WAP programs. I would also like to mention for your information that TCN contribution to WAP will be paid very soon, as the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria last week graciously approved the payment. I therefore urge other members who are yet to contribute to do so as soon as possible. On this note, I hereby humbly accept this appointment while pleading to put in my best in discharging the duties of the office. Thank you all.
The West African Power Pool WAP was created by Decision A, December 5, 1299, of the 22nd Summit of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government and adopted during the 29th Summit of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government held in Niamey.
We'll be right back after this break.
Verify that land before you buy it. To drastically reduce the incidence of building under the transmission right-of-way or encroaching on designated TCN land, members of the public are hereby requested to verify land near or along transmission line route before purchasing it. Verification should be made in the Land Development Authority or at the TCN office. This would help in drastically reducing the incidence of building under transmission line right-of-way and save us all the problem of pulling down the structure or truncating transmission line expansion projects in your community due to court injunction. Help us serve you better. Verify that land before you buy it.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has installed a 30 MVA power transformer at the 132 kV Iseyin transmission substation in Iseyin town of Oyo State. This has raised the substation's capacity to 75 MVA to improve the bulk power transmission service in the area, officials say. Here is the full report.
The Principal Manager System Operations at the Ayade sub-region of TCN, Engineer Tawid Aderogba, explained that the Iseyin substation has been in operation since 1980, about 40 years ago, serving a large coverage area.
From inception, it has been a 45 MVA capacity. Initially, it used to be 3 outgoing feeders, but I think 4 or 5 years ago, another feeder was introduced to make it 4.
He said the substation has been revamped with its capacity increased.
Presently, the capacity has been increased to 75 MVA sometime in July. I think, to be precise, on the 19th of July 2020, the 30 MVA came in.
The official proudly commended the TCN management for transitioning to an era where most power installations, including the new 30 MVA power transformers, were installed by the TCN in-house engineers.
Well, it's a very, very great encouragement to the engineers in the system, because in those days when we came in, they used to give out most of these projects to the contractors. And you know, when they come, they do most of these jobs not to the satisfaction of the company, but you know, we just have to manage whatever they are doing. But now that most of them are being done in-house, like this transformer that is behind us now that we are facing was done in-house.
And in spite of this recent expansion project that was fully delivered at the substation, Engineer Deruba said there is room for the Oshogbo region of TCN to expand for higher bulk power delivery when the need arises.
We have room for that. Like initially, I told you it's a 45 MVA, and 45 MVA could conveniently radiate 4 feeders out. So there are rooms for more feeders to be accommodated in this axis.
It is one thing to expand power facilities to serve more people. It is another thing to sustain this. The sustenance of the transmission substation's capacity is done through various maintenance schedules.
Apart from the routine maintenance, which is a daily thing they do, we also have other maintenances being carried out, such as the breakdown maintenance, the preventive maintenance. The preventive maintenance is the one we do annually on our transformers to find out its performance and other, maybe it's having any abnormalities. Throughout the comprehensive test being carried out from the preventive maintenance, we'll be able to detect if the transformer is having issue or not. We do that on the transformer as well as the switchgear equipment. But most of the switchgear equipment, we still have what we call the quarterly maintenance to find out whether the circuit breakers, your isolator, name them all, whether they're having issue. So we correct them.
At the control room of the transmission substation, the senior manager system operations, Engineer Fashion Joseph, who supervises the substation, explained more.
From here, we have 4 outgoing feeders. We have Oyo, we have Shaki, we have Ado Awaye, and we have Isen Township feeders. So Oyo can conveniently take 18 megawatts. Likewise, Shaki can also take 18. Isen Township will take 5, while Ado Awaye will take 7. So those are, at least they are at peak period, those are what they can take.
You're welcome to the interview segment of this program. We have the Assistant General Manager Transmission of Oshogbo Region of TCN, Engineer Adetutu Solomon Odukale, with us. He'll be speaking about the threats posed to power transmission lines in some parts of Osun State due to gold mining and excavation activities by suspected miners. Join us on this. The Oshogbo region is said to be a significant region in power transmission in Nigeria. Why is this so?
Oshogbo happens to be a pivot center to the whole nation. What do I mean by that? Oshogbo happens to be a kind of a conference center that is bridging the supply from hydro and the gas stations or the steam station from the southeast or south-south, and we have the hydro from the northern side, where we have 3 lines coming from Jeba to Oshogbo. We have Jeba 1, we have Jeba 2, and we have Jeba 3. And that 3 now is now called Oshogbo, Gomo, Jeba. So there's the 3rd one is turn out at Ilorin. That is where they situated the Gomo Work Center. So that is from hydro side. So the steam or the gas side, we call it Oshogbo. Before it was Oshogbo Ibini, now Oshogbo Ihobo. So we have Bini, Ihobo, Oshogbo. So the same replica turn-out that they did at Gomo is the same thing we're having on that axis of the southeast. And we have, I'm talking in terms of the 330 kV lines, then we have Oshogbo Ikeja West. Then we have Oshogbo Ayede. So that's what makes it up to 6. 330 lines. Then we have the 132.
Critical power transmission assets are facing threats of miners in some parts of the Osogbo region. How is TCN addressing this?
Most times we've always been having experience with all these sand diggers that are encroaching onto the right of way of our lines, especially on 330 and 132 kV lines. We've all been having all issues with all these sand diggers. And whenever it occurs, we always try to engage the National Security Defense Corps. That's normally we know them as a Civil Defense Corps now, because they are the designated agencies, a security agency that is handling such infrastructures, most especially the TCN infrastructures concerning the lines. But we don't normally stop there. At times we just try to get attention of the DSS at times, the Nigerian police and even Nigerian army. It's just for a cover-up to really copy them, that if there's going to be any other thing. But those are the designated security agency that is handling that is the Civil Defense Corps. But initially we were thinking that they are the sand diggers, that they've come again. So most times we always report all this kind of, but on getting there, that I mandated my men to go and check and find out. So on getting to that site, they now discover that this one is more than the sand diggers, and these people are miners. So immediately I call on the man in terms of the intelligence of Civil Defense Corps.
What other measure is TCN employing to forestall the recurrence of this?
We always try as much as possible to engage some of the villagers, because at times we do make use of them, and we're always trying to do what we can do to assist them, and that is why we're able to be getting all this information. At times we do normally enlighten them that this thing belongs to me and you. That is not anybody's property, it is our property. So they are the ones that always give us kind of hint wherever we are having the challenges, or where we believe the tripping happen.
As we sign out on this episode, let's take a look at the stories again. Federal government explains Nigeria's power grid connection process to Chad. The West African Power Pool WAP has appointed the acting MD CEO of TCN as chairman of its executive board. We also brought you a report on the 30 MVA power transformer added to the Sain substation in Oyo State. And in the interview segment, the Assistant General Manager Transmission, Osogbo region of TCN, Engineer Adetutu Solomon Odukale, spoke on how mining activities pose threats to power transmission lines in some parts of Osun State. We are glad you always stay with us on the Power Circuit program. You can view this episode and others on TCN YouTube channel. Please interact with us on these platforms because TCN needs your support to advance its mandate. We remind you that coronavirus is real. Please keep observing the safety protocols stipulated by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, to stay safe. I am Amara Agugesi. Best of the day to you.